Hello, y'all. Today I'm gonna be making probably one of the most important videos of all time. Not just on my channel, just in general, like on this entire platform. Today we're gonna be doing a keyboard key tier list. We want this to be a very in-depth and sophisticated tier list because we use all these buttons in our daily life. How am I supposed to know whether the Windows key is superior to the semicolon and colon key? This video will help you figure that out. Now I will admit this isn't my tier list, this is a tier list that someone else made. They listed the keys in order from left to right on their keyboard, but obviously every keyboard is different, so I rearranged it. So some things are in different places than others, but let's just get right into it with the escape key. Now the escape key is a very interesting fella. I would argue out of like this entire keyboard, it's like by far the most like versatile and unique key. You know, like when it comes to functions for the escape key, what immediately comes to mind is like in a video game, when you need to like open up the menu, you'd usually press the escape key and then you would like adjust the volume or whatever. But the escape key can also be used for like, I don't know, like opening up like menus and applications. It's a very interesting key. You can pretty much assign anything to the escape key. I would say it's a very important key, but not a necessary one. So I'm gonna give it a solid B tier for the escape key. I'm thinking like B plus or A minus with this one. I don't know. It's between these two for me. Alright, next up are the function keys. Now this is gonna be an interesting one because I'm pretty sure on every keyboard, the function keys are assigned to a different function. So I'm gonna be doing this based on my keyboard layout, starting off with F1. Now F1 for me puts the computer to sleep. So obviously that's gonna go in the E tier because I fucking hate that. I hate that it's next to the escape key. The escape key I've already established is a pretty damn important key. So every time you need to press the escape, I sometimes accidentally hit F1 and then all of a sudden my computer turns off. It's so dumb. I hate F1 so much. There's also the function of the function keys when I press FN. For F1, it does that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't fully understand how the function keys work. They have like two different functions. There's the one written on them, and then there's the one that you get when you hold FN. It's just very confusing, but this is not very useful for me. I don't feel like I need to use this. Next up we have F2. Now, I'm not too sure what F2 does on my keyboard. Let's see what happens when I press it. Oh, it turns on airplane mode. Well, that's nice. I guess that's kind of convenient. Now let's see what happens when I press it when I hold FN. Alright, absolutely nothing. That's just, yeah, I mean, that's kind of useful, putting it into airplane mode, but I don't really feel myself using that. I don't really fly that often. Next up, we have F3 and F4. These control the brightness. So those are both pretty useful, but we also gotta take into account the other functions. So for F3, it holds up this thing, which allows me to search for words. That's pretty useful as well. And for F4, it just copies that. Okay, I'm thinking those are a good solid C tier. I don't adjust my brightness that often, but when I need to do, I always just use these. Now F5, I know that's to refresh the website, but I'm not going to do that because then this whole tier list will reset. So what happens when I just press it? It just does that. Okay, yeah, I think that's another E tier. That's not really helpful. Alright, hold on a second. I don't know why there isn't an F tier in this tier list. That's just kind of weird, but I need to put it because F1, it just makes me so mad. Anyways, F6. Okay, I don't know if you saw that, but the whole screen just went dark. That kind of scared me for a second. With the function key, okay, it does that. That's another like not very useful one. Kind of like F5. F7. I think that turns off the touchpad. Why would I ever need to do that? That's kind of weird. And with FN, it turns on correct pressing. Okay, I'm gonna put that. Yeah, another E tier. That's not very helpful. Now F8 is a very interesting one, as it's the only button that like physically changes my computer in some way. I'm recording this on a laptop, and when I press F8, it makes all the keys go lighty. It lights them up, and that's kind of fun. And with the FN function, it does nothing. So I'm gonna put that in D tier. You know, it's kind of cool. I don't really use it that often, but it's kind of cool. Next up is F9, 10, and 11, which are the audio mute, audio lower, and audio higher buttons respectively. Now I use the audio lower and higher buttons all the time because you know you need to adjust your volume all the time. So I think these are deserve to go all the way up in A tier. These things are pretty damn useful to me. I use these all the time. Audio mute button, it's not as useful. In fact, I'm gonna put that all the way down to C tier because you can just press the audio lower button. But let's see what they do when I hold FN. For F9, nothing. F10, nothing. Oh wait, no, that does that. Okay, great. and F11. Oh right, that puts it in full screen. Forgot about that. Okay, because of that, I think I'm gonna put FN I'm gonna upgrade that to S tier because I forgot to put this in full screen when I started recording, and now that's just reminded me. Thank you. Now for F12. F12 is a screen lock button. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what screen lock does. Oh wait, no, it's scroll lock, not screen lock. Okay, the scroll lock key is meant to lock all scrolling techniques. When the scroll lock mode is on, the arrow keys scroll the contents of a text window instead of moving the cursor. This doesn't seem to do anything. Well, that's great. I'm just gonna put that on E tier as well. Next up, the print screen. I use this pretty often. I like taking screenshots, and the print screen button helps me take screenshots very easily. So I'm gonna put that at a solid. I don't know. I'm thinking A or S. I'm gonna put that in S, just for how often I use that. There's also a thing under the print screen button that says, assume that stands for system requirements, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, see, print screen that takes a screenshot, and that's very helpful. The pause button, I don't know what that does. I'm gonna put that in E tier. The insert button, I also don't know what that does, so I'm gonna put that in E tier. You know what, screw it, I'm gonna look it up. Primarily used to switch between the two text entering modes or word processor. Overtype with occurs when typing overwrites any text that's currently in insert mode. Okay, I don't care about that. This might seem boring at first, but this is the top of the keyboard. No one uses the top of the keyboard. So it's gonna start off not too interesting. Once we get down the keyboard, that's when the spicy stuff is gonna happen. Next up is delete. Delete is fairly useful. I don't use it that often, but when I do, I use it. But it's definitely not a useless key, unlike most of the F buddies. So I'm going to put that on C tier. It's a fairly used key, but obviously there's another key that's better at deleting things than delete. Next up, we have the slash and asterisk keys on the numpad. I don't think anyone uses these, so I'm going to put these at F tier. And finally, finishing things off, we have the power button. Now, I had to add this myself. I'm assuming the person who made this didn't have a power button on their keyboard. Because normally the power button, like if you're using a PC, is on the computer itself. But on a laptop, the power button, it can sometimes be on like the side, but for me, it's like a part of the keyboard. And that can be kind of annoying, but it is all the way up in the numpad area, and no one uses that area. So it's not that, the placement is not that annoying, and obviously, power button's very useful. But I'm gonna put that in A tier. Not S tier because you technically don't need it, you could just close the laptop. It's still a very useful key, especially if like the screen freezes and you can just hold the power button in order to fix it. That's what I like to do. Next up we have, what is this called? A tilde? I believe that's what this is called. Yeah, tilde. And on my keyboard, it also has the backtick symbol. I didn't even know this was called a backtick. I thought this was just another apostrophe. Yeah, there's a reason why they relegated this to the number line, because no one uses the tilde or the backtick. So that can go in E tier as well. Next we have the numbers, but not just the numbers, there's also the symbols alongside the numbers. We're going to judge them both at the same time. Because the judging numbers, that's not really fair, because you use kind of all these equally. So I'm going to judge these mostly based on their symbol. First up we have exclamation point. Exclamation point, yeah, it's fairly useful. The problem here is that anytime I need to like indicate like, you know, like loudness or like excitementness or anything that exclamation point does, I usually just like put the text in all caps. I feel like that kind of gets the point across a little better, but still exclamation point is fairly useful. I'm gonna put that, I don't know, I'm gonna put that, I'll be generous, put that in a B tier. Next up we have the @ symbol. You only really use this for like email addresses and complaining about companies on Twitter, so you want to get their attention by typing down their username in like a tweet or on Discord. I don't know. Both of those things are like kind of common, so I'll put that in C tier. The hashtag, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really use hashtags that much. I feel like they're kind of cringe. I know this used to be called the £sign, but I don't fully understand what that means, so I'm gonna put that, well, I guess it's also used for music, but I don't care for that. So I'm gonna put that in D tier. The dollar symbol, I'm gonna put that, yeah, in the same kind of category. You do need to use that, but you don't need to use that often, and you could just say dollars. You don't need to use the symbol all fancy like. The % symbol, this is a tough one. There's no other way to say, actually you could just say 100%, just type it out, you don't need to use this. Okay, so yeah, it's alongside the $sign. This one, I don't even know what this is. I think this is called like a caret. Yeah, no one uses this, so I'm gonna put that in E tier. The and, I mean technically you could just say the word and, but I feel like this is different. This one, you're kind of like saving space or being like, I don't know, less formal. Is this like an indication of being less formal? I also like the way it looks. It looks like the G logo. So just for that reason alone, it'll go in C tier. Asterisk. Asterisk, I feel like is pretty useful. I feel like asterisk is a very underrated key on the keyboard. Asterisk is used for a lot. It's used to like, you know, when you're doing roleplay, you can like indicate like, I don't know, like stage directions, is that what you call it? But it could also indicate like, you know, it's like a PS thing, like in the movie Thunderbolts. Because of that symbol alone, it changed everyone's like whole perception of the movie. Asterisk is one of the most important keys on the keyboard. Alright, parentheses. Yeah, they're fairly useful. They can go in the same. Alright, next up we have the dashes. We got underscore and hyphen. I think that's the technical terms for them. Both of them, I think, are fairly used quite a lot. This is a tough one. I'm gonna put these in, yeah, I'll put those in B tier. Again, you don't use them that often, but when you do, you're glad that there's a designated key for them on the keyboard. Plus an equal sign, you only use those for math, so it's just D tier. Backspace. Backspace, everyone knows, that is S tier, no questions asked. Backspace is like a superior delete key. Backspace is so necessary in life, especially when you suck at typing. Backspace is the GOAT. I don't think I need to explain any further. Let's move on to more the numpad keys. Okay, this is just the plus and minus buttons around the numpad. No one cares about these. Numlock. Now, a lot of people don't know what numlock is, but I actually do know what it does. You see, on the numpad, there's numbers, but also on the numpad, there's also other functions alongside those numbers. So like for me, the 9 key on the numpad is also the page up button. So the numlock makes it so the computer knows which function this key does. So when I have it turned on, it types the number. But when I turn the number off, it doesn't type the number. Instead does the main function, which is page up. It's a pretty cool key, but it's not a very useful one. But I'll put it in D tier just for the coolness factor alone. Next up is tab. Tab is a very interesting key. It's kind of in the same category as shift, control, and alt, but it's not, it's kind of different. It's like the ugly duckling of the left side of the keyboard. It's a very weird key, but obviously, you know, tab, it's like the thing that, it kind of like replaces your mouse cursor. I don't really know. I mean, if you're like, your mouse breaks, then it could be helpful in a pinch, but it's a little bit of a weird key. I'll put that underneath escape, because I don't think that's, I don't really use the tab key, and also tab is a soda that no one likes. Now for the letters. The letters are kind of hard to judge because, you know, they're letters. What do you say about them? But I'm gonna rank these based on like the letters themselves. You know, how often I use the letters, and do I think the letters have good designs? Q, I think that's an F tier letter. No one cares about Q, and it needs to be used alongside U in order for it to even exist. So W, I think that's a good D. It's used quite often because of like the who, what, when, where, why. So I'm gonna put that in B tier. Obviously, all the vowels are gonna go in S tier because they're vowels. Everyone uses these. The R can go in A tier. That's a very common key. Same with T. Y is very interesting. I think that deserves A tier. Y is a very underrated letter. It's used in adverbs, and also it can be sometimes used as a vowel. So it's a very useful key. P, that's just kind of there. C tier. Alright, next up we have the square brackets and the fancy brackets. I don't know what the name is for the other one. These are fine, no one really cares for them. Next up we have the backslash and the... What is this even called? I just realized. The vertical bar. Huh. That's pretty interesting. Okay, these are kind of weird. And I think they're kind of cool, so I'll put them in C tier, but it's like, these are like the keys that you don't even realize exist. Alright, next up we got the numpad keys. For me, 7 is the home key. I don't really know what home does. And also, no one really uses the numpad keys, they just use the number bar at top. I don't really know why the numpad even exists. So I'm gonna put these at, both these at E tier. 8 can go in E tier too. 9 is the page up button. That gets it a tier above, because that's quite useful, but I don't really use that often. I just use either the scroll wheel or the arrow keys to scroll. Caps lock, obviously that's an S tier key. I'm one of those freaks that doesn't hold shift to capitalize letters. Even if it's just one letter at the beginning of the word, I still press caps lock. Like here, if I want to look up India while having proper capitalization, then I press the caps lock and then unpress the caps lock. I don't hold shit. I don't know why I do that. That's just how I used to do it, and I don't think I'm going to change. Caps lock, very important. Definitely that's an S tier key for me. A, that's obviously another vowel, so that's going to go in S tier. S, that's also a very common letter, so I'm going to put that in D. D, I don't really care for D, so that's going to go in D tier. F, I kind of like F because it's kind of a funny word. I mean letter, so that's gonna go in C tier. G, that can go in D tier. H, same thing. These are like the keys that no one really cares about. But L, I like L, so that can go in B tier. Next up, we have the semicolon and the colon. I'm gonna be honest, I still don't understand how semicolons work. I'm just gonna put these in C tier. The colon key is like, it's used, but it isn't at the same time. It's common, but you don't really see it too often, unlike the quotation apostrophe symbols. Actually, I'm gonna put this in C tier. I'm gonna upgrade the colon here. I think the colon is used a lot more than these, but I don't think these deserve D tier. I think these deserve to be in C tier. Enter. Now this might be a bit controversial for me, but I don't really use enter all that much. But it is definitely very important. I'm not going to put an S tier, I think that's a little bit much. I'm just going to put an A tier. I know some people are going to be mad about that, but I'm going to be honest, enter, it's not on the same level as stuff like backspace. You don't use it that often, okay? It's fine. And we got more than numpad keys, no one cares about these. I'm going to put these in E tier. Alright, shift. Shift, I've already said that I don't use shift, so I'm going to put that in B tier. I'm sorry, I'm a caps lock user. I don't care for shift. I've never used shift for anything. Okay, you just have to accept that. Alright, next up we got more letters. These are more letters that even more people don't care about, except for C. C can go into C tier, and B can go into B tier. N can go into A tier, same with M. They're kind of brothers, so I do think they need to be together. Alright, next up we have the less than and comma key alongside the period and greater than key. Okay, this is very interesting, because comma and period both very used, but the greater than and less than symbols are not. I don't think we should let that drag it down. Both period and comma are used quite often, so I think those deserve to both be in A tier. The slash and question mark symbol, I feel like I use the question mark symbol more than I use the exclamation point. But I just realized, why is the exclamation point on a number key whereas the question mark is alongside another symbol? That's weird. So they clearly think it's better. I don't agree. That can go in A tier. I feel like I use slash and question mark quite often. Right shift, no one cares for right shift. F tier. No one uses right shift. Even if you're left-handed, no one uses right shift. Alright, next up we got more numpad keys. The 1 for me is end. I don't know what that is. And 3 for me is page down, so that can get upgraded. D tier. Control, everyone knows control is a good S tier key. Very useful for copying and pasting. And some other stuff too, like Control F, that does the other thing that other function key did. And Control could do like 10 other things as well. It's a very versatile key. It's even more versatile than Escape. Next up we have FN. I don't know what FN is. I mean, I know what FN is, I know what it does, but I can't explain how it works. I don't fully understand how the FN or the function key works alongside all the function keys. So I'm just gonna put it in B tier. Alright, next up we got the Windows key. This is the key that does that. It allows you to see all the dirty secrets I've been hiding, like solitaire and unnamed. I have no idea what that app is. Can someone tell me? Windows key, I mean, I do feel like I use it the most often to like when I'm in full screen here, for example. It allows me to like see the taskbar. I feel like that's the only thing I use the Windows key for. I don't use this whole section here, but just for that reason alone, I think it's good C tier. Right, Alt. I don't really know what Alt does. I don't use Alt that often, I feel like. It's kind of like Control's younger brother that's trying to do the same things that Control is doing, but no matter how hard it tries, it's kind of getting shoved to the side by everyone around it. And that's kind of sad, actually. So just out of sympathy, I'll put it in A tier, but it's still not as good as Control, and especially not as good as Spacebar. Everyone knows Spacebar. That's S tier. I believe that is the most used key on the entire keyboard. I could be wrong about that, but I'm willing to bet that spacebar is the most used key. Alt right side, that's even more useless than Alt shift, so I'll put that in F tier. The menu button, I didn't even know this was a thing on my keyboard, but it doesn't even say menu on my keyboard. It's just a square with 3 lines, but when I press it, it brings up this. That's kind of cool, I guess. I will admit, but it's just D tier. Control on the right, that's a little more useful because it's Control, but still no one uses the right. I don't even know what these keys are called. The Control, Alt, Shift keys. I'm sure there's a name for them. Now we have the arrow keys. Arrow keys are quite useful, especially when like you're playing games, but also in other stuff, like they can be used to scroll up and scroll down and like scroll up left or right if you need to do that. I use the arrow keys quite often. I think I'm gonna put those in A tier. I don't think they're quite S tier keys, but they're definitely very useful keys. So all those can go in A tier. 0 on numpad, no one cares about 0 on numpad. That can go alongside all the others. The period, that's even more useless, and the enter, that's on the bottom right, so I didn't even know that existed, if I'm being honest. So that's another F tier. Also, person who made this tier, let's include a calculator button. That's not on my keyboard, so I'm just gonna put that in. I don't use it. Alright, that is the full tier list. Hold on, let me zoom out here. See, I'm using control here. That's another reason why control is one of the best keys, because it can be also used for this. Alright, so there you go. There is the full tier list of keyboard keys. If you disagree with me, no you don't. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you enjoyed. A donation box is to the left. You just gotta cross the bathroom and the arcade, and you take a right next to the carnival. There should be like some sort of mini carnival going up there. Just ignore that. Go past that. Take another right, and then take a left after the right, and take another right. And you should be able to see the donation box. Please donate. Even if you donate like $6 or $50 million, it's fine. It'll all go to my fundraiser for buying a tank. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, if you want to see more videos like this, why? Do you know that like like in Jesus, the Jesus book, he gets thrown on the cross and then he dies. That's a pretty cool part of the Jesus book. That has nothing to do with this. I just wanted to mention that because I was reading this recently. I was like, whoa, this guy died. This tier list was last time I found on Christmas. 1225, huh? Ooh, and I just realized the color scheme for all these keys are either white, black, or red. And what other logo has that color scheme? Oh my god. Oh no. Oh crap. Oh no.